This video will contain spoilers. Hey there, thanks for joining me today. I'm Sero. Today, I thought I would discuss a series called The Songs of Chaos. This is a Dragon Rider fantasy story, a genre I've been a fan of for most of my life, and not in a way that a lot of my colleagues are a fan of. Specifically, I wanted to cover the magic system in this universe, and most importantly, why do giant walking WMDs allow puny humans to ride on their backs? All this and more, stay tuned.
Era, come here!
Feeling a bit lazy, are we?
Okay, so historically, dragons in this universe are split into 5 types, based on what type of magic they are able to use. Fire, Ice, Emerald, Storm, and Mystic. Fire dragons can obviously use fire magic. Ice dragons likewise use magic based around ice, but can also use water as well. Emerald dragons are able to use both earth and plant-based magic. They are also responsible for all healing magic in this universe. Storm dragons use wind or lightning-based magic. Finally, you have your Mystic dragons, who have magic based on psychic abilities. Think things like telepathy, mind control, influencing emotions, and even seeing into the future. Now, all dragons have a core. A core is something within the dragon's very soul that allows them to channel magic. It works by allowing a dragon to absorb magical motes of energy within the environment around them. But all of these magical motes are different based on their respective elements. They aren't just all pure mana. So there are fire magical motes, there are water and ice, there is wind and lightning, and etc. and etc. Fire motes can be obtained primarily from fire in the environment. So a fire dragon can absorb a lot more fire magic by sitting next to a raging fire. Likewise, ice dragons would obtain more magic from being near water or ice. This system definitely makes the Emerald and Storm dragon magic the most convenient. Emerald would absorb more magic from either the earth or nearby plants. Storm dragons would obtain air motes from, well, the air. But what about mystic motes? Well, mystic motes come from sentient beings. So a mystic dragon would gain most of their power by hanging around a large quantity of intelligent creatures. Probably should stay away from Twitter in that case. So, the million-dollar question: why do dragons want puny humans to be their partners? Well, as I mentioned before, dragons are able to absorb power from the environment to use magic. Here's the thing though, they can't discriminate between what type of magical motes they absorb. So a fire dragon won't just absorb motes of fire magic from the world. They will also absorb all the other elements as well. But fire dragons cannot use those other elements to power their fire magic. So in essence, all those other motes are just taking up space within their core, clogging it up. So where do the humans come in? Well, through an ancient pact, a human is able to form a magical bond with a dragon. Through this pact, the rider is able to assist the dragon through processes known as forging and cleansing. Forging is when the rider helps the dragon absorb more magic from the environment. Cleansing is when the rider expels unnecessary motes from the dragon's core, i.e. if you have a fire dragon, You would expel all motes except the fire ones. I should probably mention that another thing that helps dragons absorb more magic motes is by eating their favorite food. Favorite foods are also based on dragon type. Fire dragons appear to like spicy beef, ice dragons like fish, etc. and etc. So a dragon rider is able to help their dragon become stronger by absorbing more suitable motes of magic. But what do the riders get out of it? Two things. First, they'll naturally grow stronger than the average human. They will also gain the ability to use magic. Both of these depend on the strength of the bond between the rider and the dragon. This bond can strengthen over time, specifically when exposed to danger. So you put a student in a training environment and their bond probably won't strengthen all that much, even if they were dueling another student. You'd probably be better off locking them underground with monsters for several days. The stronger the bond, the more magic the rider can pull from the dragon's core without the bond fraying. Dragon riders are also classified based on the strength of their bond. The rankings are as follows: novices, ascendants, champions, lords, and paragons. Novices can draw about 25% of the magic from the dragon's core. If a novice tries to pull more than this 25%, there is a chance that the bond will fray and the rider will need to wait until the bond heals before they can use the magic again. The next rank is Ascendant, and they can pull about 50%. This is also the rank where riders start to gain those nifty physical attribute enhancements. The third rank is Champion, and they can pull about 3/4. And finally, there are the Lords, that are able to use 100% of the power without fear of the bond fraying. And as I mentioned earlier, there's also a 5th level called Paragon. But those are really just Lords that have spent a long time using forging and cleansing on their dragon's core. So, a rider's magic is the same element as that as their dragon. They gain a minor ability to manipulate their respective elements. Besides that, they gain 4 key abilities around their element. Basically, best way I can describe it is think a MOBA game where characters can acquire certain abilities that they can use basically instantly. It kind of works the same way, where even though they can manipulate their elements, writers have these key abilities, these key named abilities they can use whenever they want, presuming the bond isn't frayed, of course. Based on dialogue from the book, the first 2 spells appear to manifest the same way for all writers. A novice will acquire the ability to cast their element at a range. For example, a rider of a fire dragon will gain the ability to use a fireball spell. A rider will continue gaining key abilities as their bond develops. At Ascendant, the user will gain the ability to use their element in an area of effect. Think Dungeons and Dragons style fireball, where it doesn't just hit a single target, it literally explodes. So at Champion, that's where things vary between each user. So 2 riders, each with a fire dragon, could potentially have 2 different abilities. What's more, it seems like the writer has some input in what kind of skill they develop. Let's take the main character, for example, one Holt Cook. The 3rd spell he develops through experimentation, when he notices that his magic is bright enough to temporarily blind people who look directly at it. So Holt, through some training, developed a move that was essentially a flash of blinding light. Think something like Flashbang, or for you anime fans, think a Solar Flare from Dragon Ball Z. So when Holt achieves the rank of Champion, that ability becomes his 3rd spell, and it becomes easier for him to cast it. And with that reveal, I should probably mention that I told a lie earlier. Yes, historically, dragons are split into 5 categories that I mentioned before. But here's the thing, dragons are very Spartan when it comes to child rearing. If they sense any type of weakness within one of their eggs, like say a birth defect, they will yeet that dragon egg into the ocean before it has a chance to hatch. Holt steals one of these dragon eggs. When it hatches, Holt is introduced to a blind albino dragon. This is Ash, Holt's partner throughout the series. Ash doesn't channel magic through one of the 5 elements I mentioned above. He channels moonlight. So, one of the main enemies of both dragons and humans in this book is the Scourge. Think the undead from Warcraft 3 with a greater emphasis on the bug side of things. Moonlight element spells burn through the Scourge, more so than actual fire magic does. It is literally their kryptonite. One of the most dangerous aspects of the Scourge is their ability to spread the plague. Moonlight has the ability to cleanse this plague. Now, some of my favorite scenes from this story come from seeing other characters react to Ash. So, for example, there's this elder dragon that has been fighting off the Scourge for centuries. To use another example from Warcraft, think Alexstrasza or one of her siblings. So, when this elder discovers what Ash is, and more specifically what Ash's power does to the Scourge, he is understandably quite horrified that his species has been potentially slaughtering the key to destroying the Scourge this entire time. Kinda makes me wonder how something like Ash wasn't discovered centuries ago, but again, dragons are very Spartan. They are a lot less nurturing than humans. If Ash had been born without Holt, as most dragons with birth defects probably would have been, Ash probably would have been left to fend for himself. And he probably would have died before he discovered what his magic element even was. Heck, there are several instances where other dragons, both wild dragons and those with the riders, will meet Ash, and the initial reaction can best be summarized as, "Hey kiddo, it's never too late for an abortion." The best reaction in the story actually comes from the big bad of the series, though. It basically amounts to, "Oh, really? A 6th element you say? Really? And he came from an egg considered effective? Well, isn't that very interesting? Very interesting indeed." So, there are 2 books out so far, and let's just say, as of the end of book 2, while not confirmed, it's safe to assume there are more than 6 types of dragons in this story. So, that's basically my introduction to this magic system. If anything I have said has interested you, please feel free to check out the Songs of Chaos series. I'll go ahead and put a photo of the 2 books up on the screen, and be aware that the 3rd book will be coming out within the next few weeks. Also, please like and subscribe to my page for more of my random ramblings. Please smash that like button and leave a comment. Peace.